Life isn't about just existing. It's about living with purpose, with passion, with fire. Every moment you sit back, you let life pass you by. But that ends now. It's time to rise, to claim what's yours. Are you ready to reclaim your freedom? Rule number 1. Stop being a people pleaser. Imagine a great philosopher, someone like Socrates or Marcus Aurelius. They weren't just thinkers. They were warriors of the mind. They didn't bow down to societal pressures or crave the fleeting admiration of the masses. Instead, they stood firm, grounded in their convictions. Do you know what Socrates did when the entire city of Athens turned against him? He stood firm, drinking that fatal cup of poison rather than betray his beliefs. That's power. That's freedom. Not because he didn't care about people, but because he knew that true respect comes when you respect yourself first. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius, while leading the Roman Empire, wrote his meditations not for the world, but for himself. He wasn't looking for likes, shares, or followers. He was seeking wisdom, self-discipline, and inner peace. So, what's holding you back? Are you modifying your dreams, diluting your passions just to fit someone else's mold? Every time you try to appease everyone, you diminish a part of yourself. Break the chains. The only person you need to please, the only approval you should seek, is your own. And remember, every time you say yes out of fear of disappointment or judgment, you're saying no to yourself. Break free from the shackles of societal expectations. Be bold, be fierce. Demand respect, not by pandering to everyone, but by standing tall in your beliefs and values. Rule number 2, stop dwelling on the past. Think of Alexander the Great, who looked at the vast horizons, rather than the steps behind him. Imagine if he had been paralyzed by past defeats or the shadows of his father's legacy. Would he have created one of the largest empires of the ancient world? The past is a tricky beast. It's filled with memories, both good and bad, successes and failures. But dwelling on bygone past days, especially on the regrets and what-ifs, is a trap. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle with past mistakes and old hurts, the deeper you sink. Have you ever heard a warrior mourn the battle he hasn't fought yet because of a past defeat? No, because true warriors learn from their setbacks and march forward with even more determination. Remember Julius Caesar. He could have been complacent with his achievements in Gaul, but instead he took a risk, crossed the Rubicon, and changed the course of history. He didn't get entangled in the past of the Roman Republic. He envisioned and ushered in the Roman Empire. So, what chains of the past are holding you back? Is it a past failure, a mistake, a missed opportunity? Whatever it is, remember, every new dawn is a chance to start fresh, to rewrite your story. The past is a place of reference, not residence. Don't let yesterday's shadows darken the path of today's light. March ahead. Conquer your future. Rule number 3, stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Think about the legendary General Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War. He once said, all warfare is based on deception. But here's the catch. If you're deceiving yourself by repeating the same errors, you're on a fast track to defeat. A mistake made once might be an accident, a blip in judgment. But when it's repeated, it becomes a choice, a conscious decision. And when the same mistake is made repeatedly, it becomes a pattern, a habit. And habits, especially the detrimental ones, can cage you just as surely as iron bars. Have you heard of the mighty Hannibal Barca? The Carthaginian general who crossed the Alps with elephants to challenge Rome. His tactics at the Battle of Cannae were so groundbreaking that they're still studied in military academies today. He didn't win by repeating the same strategies. He innovated, learned from each skirmish, each battle. So, what's your recurring mistake? Is it a toxic relationship? A self-deprecating thought? A harmful habit? Recognize it, acknowledge it, then break its cycle. You're not doomed to repeat history. Each moment is a new chance to pivot, to change, to grow, to evolve and to conquer. You need to learn, adapt, and overcome. So arm yourself with wisdom from past mistakes and march forward with the resolve to not let history define your destiny. So start again, take the lessons from failure, and go in battle again and conquer. Rule number 4. Stop following the crowd. Nietzsche, the renowned philosopher, once implied that the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. True strength, he believed, was the ability to walk alone. Look back in history. Every great figure, from Galileo to Gandhi, dared to challenge the status quo. They didn't achieve greatness by merely blending in or going with the flow. Galileo, with his heliocentric model, stood against the collective beliefs of his time. He was tried, ridiculed, but he was right. He chose truth over conformity. Similarly, when the world was rushing west, Christopher Columbus dared to sail in the opposite direction to discover a new world. He didn't listen to the naysayers or the crowd. He trusted his vision. So, ask yourself, are you taking a path because it's genuinely yours? Or are you treading on it just because others are? Every time you mute your instincts to follow the majority, you lose a bit of yourself. In the vast tapestry of history, it's not the conformists who leave an indelible mark, but the rebels, the innovators, the dreamers who dare to chart their own course. Why settle for being a mere echo when you have the potential to be an original voice? Remember, the crowd often takes the easy path, the path of least resistance, but it's the road less traveled, the one you carve for yourself, that makes all the difference. Blaze your trail, make your mark, and let the world follow you. Rule number 5. Stop whining about what you can't control. Consider the teachings of the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus. We cannot control the external events around us, but we can control our reactions to them. He believed that lamenting over things beyond our control is a futile endeavor and only leads to unnecessary suffering. History has shown us countless warriors, from Spartans to samurai, who faced overwhelming odds and impossible challenges. Yet they never lost their composure over elements out of their control, be it weather, numbers, or terrain. Instead, they focused on their strategies, their discipline, their inner strength. Think of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae. Outnumbered and outmatched, did they complain about the sheer size of the Persian army? No, they focused on the narrow pass, their strategy, their unity. They knew the odds, and yet chose to stand their ground. In your life, there will always be events, people, and circumstances beyond your control. Complaining about them is like shouting at the rain to stop. It's energy wasted. Energy that you could redirect into something productive, something transformative. Instead of lamenting over a lost opportunity, seek a new one. Instead of cursing the storm, learn to dance in the rain. Harness that energy, that passion, and channel it into actions that propel you forward. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to thrive within it. Understand what's in your power to change. Focus on that and let go of the rest. For in the grand arena of life, it's not the challenges that define us, but how we rise to meet them. Rule number 6. Stop feeling entitled to success. We only deserve what we fight for. Alexander the Great, one of history's greatest conquerors, once declared, "There is nothing impossible to him who will try." Note the emphasis on try. He didn't sit on his throne, waiting for the world to bow down. He earned his legacy, battling through every challenge, every adversary. In today's era, with instant gratification at our fingertips, many harbor a dangerous illusion that success is a birthright, not a battle. That victories should come easy. This is a destructive mindset, a trap that snares potential and stifles growth. The Spartans didn't build their reputation by lounging around. They endured the agoge, a brutal training regime. From childhood, the essence of their philosophy: success is the sum of repeated efforts, day in and day out. Every legend, from Muhammad Ali to Marie Curie, knew the value of sweat, of perseverance. They didn't just wish for success. They worked for it, wrestled with it, bled for it, wrestled with it, bled for it. Their achievements weren't handed to them on a silver platter. They were hard-fought victories. If you're waiting for success to fall into your lap, you're going to be waiting a long time. The world owes you nothing. Every single thing of value, every dream worth pursuing, demands a price. Are you willing to pay it? Are you ready to sweat, to sacrifice, to push your boundaries? To truly seize your destiny, you must abandon entitlement and embrace effort. For in the fierce arena of life, it's not the wishful thinkers who thrive, but the relentless warriors who claim their destiny with both hands. Rule number 7. Stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Reflect on the words of the ancient philosopher Confucius. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, this is called a mistake, simple yet profound. An error repeated is not just an error. It's a choice, a conscious decision. History is rife with leaders and civilizations that fell not because they erred, but because they failed to learn from those errors. The mighty Roman Empire, for instance, didn't crumble in a day. It was a series of repeated mistakes, neglecting the lessons of the past, that led to its decline. It's like a warrior sharpening a blade. Every time he makes an incorrect stroke, the blade weakens. If he doesn't correct his technique, the blade will eventually break. But if he learns, adjusts, and honors his skills, he ends up with a weapon of unmatched strength and sharpness. In your journey, every mistake is a beacon, shedding light on a lesson. If you stumble, it's an opportunity, not a setback. An opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve. But if you ignore the lesson and stumble again on the same stone, you've robbed yourself of progress. Greatness isn't about never falling. It's about rising stronger every single time you fall. Embrace the wisdom from every error. Fortify your resolve. Carve out a path devoid of past missteps. For the true mark of a champion isn't flawless victory, but the ability to transform every failure into a stepping stone towards success. Rule number 8. Stop fearing failure. Consider the words of the iconic samurai, Miyamoto Musashi, "Do not fear death. If you always feel that death is deplorable, you will not be able to fight to the utmost." While he spoke of literal combat, his wisdom is a metaphor for life. If you're paralyzed by the fear of failure, you'll never embrace the battles that lead to victory. Look to history and the titans who shaped it. Do you think they never tasted failure? Napoleon Bonaparte, a military genius, faced the crushing defeat at Waterloo. But he once said, "Victory belongs to the most persevering." It's not about never facing setbacks. It's about the relentless spirit to rise again. Take Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before perfecting the light bulb. Each failure, a lesson. Each setback, a stepping stone. Imagine if he'd given in to the dread of failure. We might have been left in the dark. In the arena of life, failure is not your enemy. Fear is. It's the silent assassin of dreams, the chain that binds potential. But every time you confront that fear, stare it down and charge ahead regardless, you claim a personal victory, a victory that brings you one step closer to your ultimate goal. Real champions, true warriors of life, they're not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fearlessly march into battle, knowing that even in defeat, there's honor, wisdom, and a foundation for future triumphs. So, when you're at the crossroads of risk and reward, dare to step into the unknown, because it's not the failures that will haunt you, but the dreams you never chased due to the fear of failing. Stand at life's crossroads, warrior. Will you choose the path of courage or comfort? The rules we've traversed are your armor, your compass. Destiny doesn't favor the idle. It rewards the brave. Are you ready to conquer? To unleash your potential? If the fire within burns bright, shout it out. Drop your declaration in the comments and hit subscribe. Our journey has just begun, and together, we'll rise to unparalleled heights. Your next chapter awaits. Embrace it.